What if a novel could terrify an empire? What if a doctor's pen was more dangerous than an army of soldiers? And what if the execution of one armed man could awaken an entire nation? This is the story of one of the greatest national heroes of Philippine history. Guess what? Dr. José Rizal, the man whose words changed the destiny of the Philippines. Before I proceed with this story, can I get some support from you by liking this video and sharing it with your family and friends who love history? Now, let's dive in. In 1861, in the quiet town of Calamba, Laguna, a child was born who would one day shake an empire. His name was José Patricio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Riolanda. At that time, the Philippines was under Spanish colonial rule. For more than 300 years, Filipinos faced discrimination, forced labor, heavy taxation, and abuse from powerful friars and officials. But the young José was different. He was curious. He was brilliant. He was observant. By the age of 3, he could already read. By his teenage years, he had mastered multiple languages: Spanish, Latin, German, and more. His intelligence was undeniable. He first studied at Ateneo Municipal de Manila and later at the University of Santo Tomas. But he felt something deeper than ambition. He felt injustice. Rizal noticed how Filipinos were treated as second-class citizens in their own land. Native priests were humiliated. Farmers were exploited. Education was controlled by friars who feared enlightenment. So Rizal left for Europe, not to escape, but to prepare. In Spain, he studied medicine and philosophy. He specialized in ophthalmology, hoping to cure his mother's failing eyesight. But while studying the human eye, he also began examining something greater: the blindness of colonial society. In 1887, he published a novel that could change everything. Can you guess what the first novel is? You guess it right. Noli Me Tangere. Noli Me Tangere exposed corruption in the church, hypocrisy among friars, and the suffering of Filipinos under colonial rule. Through characters like Crisostomo Ibarra and Padre Damaso, Rizal mirrored the painful reality of his country. The reaction was explosive. Spanish authorities banned the book. Friars labeled him a heretic. Officials marked him as dangerous. But Rizal did not stop. Instead, he published another novel, which is darker than before. Can you guess the second novel? It's El Filibusterismo. If you guess it right, kindly save this video, because it gives you information about José Rizal, especially to those who studied Philippine literature. If Noli planted the seed of awakening, El Fili ignited anger. This time, the message was sharper. Reform was failing. The tone was heavier. The warning was clear. Oppression creates revolution. When he returned to the Philippines in 1892, he founded La Liga Filipina, a peaceful civic organization aimed at uniting Filipinos and advocating legal reforms. Representation in the Spanish Cortes, equality before the law, and freedom of speech. He believed in change, but not through violence. However, the Spanish authorities feared his influence. Within days of founding La Liga, Rizal was arrested and exiled to Dapitan in Mindanao. But exile did not silence him. Instead, in Dapitan, Rizal built a school. He taught science, mathematics, and languages. He treated the sick. He engineered water systems. He conducted agricultural experiments. Even as a prisoner, he served. Meanwhile, inspired by his writings, a secret revolutionary group was formed, the Katipunan, led by Andres Bonifacio. Here lies the irony. Rizal did not support armed revolution. He believed the Philippines was not yet ready. He believed education and reform were the foundations of true freedom. But ideas have consequences. In 1896, the Katipunan launched an armed revolt against Spain. Though Rizal had no direct involvement, the Spanish government accused him of rebellion and sedition. He arrested once more and imprisoned in Fort Santiago. In his final days, he wrote letters. He forgave his enemies. He married Josephine Bracken. And secretly, he wrote a final poem, Mi Ultimo Adios. On December 30th, 1896, at Bagumbayan, Rizal walked calmly to his execution. He refused a blindfold. He requested one final thing, to face the firing squad standing upright. As bullets struck him, he twisted his body so he could fall facing the sky. He was only 35 years old. He never led an army. He never held a rifle. He never called for bloodshed. But his death transformed him into martyr. His execution outraged Filipinos. It strengthened the revolution. It united factions. 2 years later, the Philippines would declare independence. Rizal proved something extraordinary. True power does not always come from weapons. Sometimes it comes from courage, intellect, and the willingness to die for truth. If you love this content, hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell, because part 2 is a different story, but the same character. Comment part 2 to see the darker path. Thank you for watching.